the Bobby Moe Show. I'm the play-by-play voice of Robert Morris University basketball and football, Chris Shovlin. Great to have you aboard with us today. And we also have aboard Logan Biddle, the head women's hockey coach here at RMU. We're going to be talking about the reinstatement of RMU women's and men's hockey and the fact that they're going back to the CHA. That's the latest news. We'll do that with Logan coming up right here on the Bobby Moe Show podcast, brought to you by Dollar Energy Fund. Stay with us. This winter, many families in our area are struggling to make ends meet and keep their homes warm. You can make a difference by making a donation to Dollar Energy Fund. Your contribution will be matched dollar for dollar by Dollar Energy Fund's utility partners, and 100% of all donations will be used to help local families maintain or restore basic utility services. No one should have to face a Pittsburgh winter in the cold. Help spread the warmth to your neighbors in need and donate today at dollarenergy.org. Many Pittsburgh area families are struggling to afford basic gas, water, and electric services, but you can help your neighbors in need by supporting Dollar Energy Fund. Find out how a small contribution can have a big impact. Visit dollarenergy.org today. It's the Bobby Moe Show, presented by the Dollar Energy Fund. I'm Chris Shovlin. As promised, Logan Biddle, the head women's hockey coach of the Robert Morris University Colonials, is with us right now. Logan, I like to consider myself an RMU lifer. I think you are too, because not only did you come here as an undergrad and played on the first hockey team, you assisted on the first ever goal here at Robert Morris University. And before we get into all of the things you've done since then, let's talk about that particular moment, what it was like playing on that first RMU men's hockey team.
Yeah, that was a special group. You know, I think it takes a special person or a special group of people to kind of come in and say, we're going to start something from scratch. Nobody really knew what to expect. Nobody really knew what our expectations were. We were just a bunch of people that came in and really loved each other in the school and wanted to go out and do the best we could. And that first game going out there, you know, I think we were picked to win 0 games the whole year in the preseason, won the first one, and special moment to get an assist on that first goal. But it's a memory that I'll never forget, and it's a season I'll never forget for sure.
You know, it's kind of interesting because, and we were just chatting at work the other day talking about, you know, records are meant to be broken, but when you're the first, no one can ever take that away. I mean, that first assist on the first RMU goal, your name will always be in that record book.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool thing. And, you know, that whole season was a season of first. And, you know, especially the first couple of years, their first championship, their first regular season, all that stuff. But that first goal, that first season was something special. And I think we ended up with 8 wins, which was 8 more than anybody expected us to. So, like I said, it was a great group of guys and set the bedrock, the foundation for what was the success that was going to come. Yeah.
You know, it's kind of cool. You've come practically full circle now. I mean, not only playing here as a student athlete, but assisting on the women's team all these years, and now being named the head coach of a team that is making a resurgence. Because I think everybody knows, if you haven't been living in a cave, Robert Morris hockey went away. That was a heck of a gut punch for both the men's and women's programs. But let's talk about the women's program in particular. You're the new head coach. You don't have a team yet, so you're building it from scratch. I mean, it's back to where you were when you were a student athlete first coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's, you know, one of the fascinating things is going through that as a student athlete first, and then now coming back as a head coach and kind of doing the same thing. Now we're a little bit more fortunate that we do have a couple kids that are still here, but you know, basically again building from scratch and you know, having the ability to play through that, I think is going to help me as a coach, is to go out and, you know, kind of what to look for in a player, because you need, like I said, a special type of person that's willing to come in and you know, kind of start everything anew. And so we're really excited about it. You know, like I said, I've been here a long time and been on the women's side for 11 years before, you know, jumping into this spot. So I'm very excited for the opportunity, and I think you know, the goal is to get back to where we were, which was winning championships each and every year.
Logan Biddle is our guest here on the Bobby Moe Show, the newly appointed head coach of the Robert Morris University women's ice hockey team. You've had some great experiences down through your personal career as well. I know after you left Robert Morris, you played professionally for a while. Talk about that.
Yeah, 1 year. You know, I wanted to keep playing. I wanted to give it a shot just to kind of see what it was about. And I ended up playing on 3 different teams in Colorado and New Jersey and then in Dayton, Ohio. So after that year, I was kind of questioning if I wanted to keep doing it. I loved it, but it's a grind. It really is a grind, the long bus trips and things like that. And, I ended up signing on a team in Bloomington, Illinois, which is 40 minutes from my house, where I grew up. So I said, you know what, this will be a place where I can stick and stay and it'll be all good. And just like professional sports, I got released in training camp, and I said, that's it. I'm not doing this again. I'm not chasing it. So while the playing experience was fantastic, it's something that, really kind of, fueled my drive to want to get into coaching, right? And so when that opportunity arose, to get back to Robert Morris and be on the women's side, I jumped right on it.
Sure. What was growing up in Peoria, Illinois like?
Different, yeah. I guess it's a small town that has pretty much everything that you need. They have a professional baseball team, hockey team, and so we kind of grew up watching those hockey games, and that's kind of where I fell in love with the game, was going to the Riverman games there, and I was lucky enough as I grew older to be able to skate with those guys in the summer and train and all that stuff. So it was a nice, easy living, and really enjoyed growing up there. Yeah.
A little different from Pittsburgh, though, right?
A little bit. But you know what? In the suburbs out here, it's very similar.
Yeah.
So it's not the big city downtown, but like I said, you got everything that you need. And if you wanted to get out, they got an airport too, so you can get out of there pretty easily.
Yeah, I've been there once. I think it's a cool little city, and mid-America. That's what it's all about.
That's right.
You had mentioned earlier that some of the players who were here on the last active Robert Morris women's hockey team are still here. How have they taken this roller coaster ride with you and with everybody in this program, and how are they coming out of it right now? What have they done to continue keeping in shape?
Yeah, I think it's for the girls that stayed and for the girls that left. We all kind of rode this together, and
Sure.
Fortunately enough, a lot of our players were able to find new homes, 3 of which went to Ohio State and won a national championship this year. So for the girls that stayed, I know they're working out and they're skating as much as they can, and they just really loved what they were doing here at RMU, which all the girls did, and they decided to stay, and I'm very happy that they did, and hopefully we can get a couple of those girls that had left come back as well, because I want to be able to build off of what we built before. So it was not easy for anybody. It's like I said, even those girls that ended up at Ohio State and won a national championship, you think, well, that was awesome, but they had their struggles too. And everybody, when they got the news of the teams being dropped, it was you go on a high from making the NCAA tournament on the women's side to now what, right? So I was able to stay in contact with all the girls throughout last year when I was coaching at Penn's Elite, and they had great experiences and tough experiences, but it's sad that they had to go through that, but I think all of them are happy, whether they come back or not, that these teams are back, because they spend a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears into this program. They want to see it succeed.
Yeah, the NCAA tournament 2021, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's gone.
Yeah, no, that was a weird year, obviously, with COVID. We had won, I think, 3 or 4 straight regular season championships, and that was the year I think we finished 3rd, and we had to play the extra game in the playoffs, and things kind of lined up for us, and we knew the team was good enough to win, and I think it was our 5th straight CHA championship game, and we had won the first and then lost the next 3, so it was I guess it was our time to win it and to pull it out 1-0, and then go to the NCAA tournament and play Northeastern, who was the number 1 seed, and with 2 minutes to go in the second period, it was 2-1. So we were right in that game, and it was an exciting end to our season. And then, like I said, all the girls were excited to come back to defend, and to get that news, it was tough. So we're working to get back, and we're excited to hit the ground running in 23-24.
Speaking of getting back, College Hockey America has reinstated Robert Morris, both the women's and the men's teams, and that was a nice feather in the cap, and knowing that you're going to be back in that conference again.
Yep. As a team, we've been in there for basically since we started, right? Mm-hmm. So it's exciting to get back to the only home that we know, and kind of dig right back into those rivalries that we've grown accustomed to with Mercier's, Penn State, Syracuse, those types of teams. So I think they're excited to get us back because they want to catch us when we're still fresh, but we're excited to get in and get after it right away.
All right. Logan Biddle is my guest. We're talking Robert Morris University women's hockey, and I don't think it's any secret that you're married to one of the greatest players in the history of Robert Morris sports, and that is Breanne McLaughlin, the first goalie in the history of the women's program for the Colonials, and an Olympian as well. I just have to ask you, who's the best hockey player in your house? Is it you, Breanne, or is it Carter or Baker?
Well, I'm hoping it's one of the boys, but right now I'll have to say it's Bree for sure. We joke around. We had an argument the other night that on who the best athlete was. I said, I'll give you hockey, but I'll take everything else. And she still thinks she's a better athlete, which she probably is. So, but yeah, so I mean, her career was just spectacular here at RMU, and to be able to parlay that into obviously the national career that she had with the U.S. team for 6-7 years and 2 Olympics, and then to play professionally, she's the blueprint of what you can do from Robert Morris, and she put a lot of hard work and time and effort into it, and now she's on the coaching side, trying to help the youth kids get to where she was, and she's about as good of a role model as you can have in professional sports, men or women. And she did it the right way, and she didn't, go to this, Big Ten school or big time school that, everybody thought you needed to go to get that pass. She proved you can do it with hard work and doing it the right way at Robert Morris. And we've had a lot of girls following her footsteps, coming through Robert Morris and making national teams and play professionally. So it's great.
She's got to be the face of the franchise here. There's no question, and obviously a great recruiting tool as well.
Yep. Yeah, she's probably the biggest fan of Robert Morris women's hockey other than me, and probably even maybe a little bit more than I am as well. So, she stays engaged, stays involved, and she's always wondering what's going on. And, we just signed a goalie, and she's big. Is she good? I got to go watch her play. I got to get So I said you'll be proud of her. Don't worry. But she's very interested. She's very engaged. She was a humongous part of getting these teams back throughout this past 7, 8, 9 months, and she played a huge part in kind of rallying the troops and getting out there and doing some work to try to get these teams back. So again, she's super excited that I'm back at RMU, and so am I, and
sure.
We're a Robert Morris family, that's for sure.
I know that both of you did a lot of behind the scenes work to get these programs back, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, it was the day it happened is we started talking like, what are we going to do, right? We can either complain and we can get mad about it and just kind of move on, or we can try to do something productive, and with the help of a lot of alumni and obviously a lot of people across North America and the world, we were able to achieve the goal of getting the teams back. But a lot of hours and a lot of time spent, and that when that announcement came in December that the teams are back, it was all worth it, and that's what we were trying to do, and that's what we ended up getting, and now we're ready to roll.
All right, so how much ice time do Carter and Baker get? I mean, how often are they out there?
So Baker, not quite yet. Carter he's on the ice as much as we can get him out there. He does his once a week learn to skate, and I wasn't at this one, but Bree sent me a video. He got into his first fight, so he's right on pace with his dad. They were playing pick up the duckies or something like that, and the kid went after his duck, and he pushed him over and got the duck. And so he's very sweet and gentle off the ice, but a little bit rough around the ice, kind of like I was. So, but he's out there quite a bit, and Bree has her artificial ice surface down at the island where she does her goalie lessons, sure. And he's up there all the time cruising around, so he loves it.
That's great stuff. I have to ask you one more question. It's driving me crazy. It's driving the entire city of Pittsburgh crazy. What's wrong with the Penguins? I mean, can you put it in a nutshell? And how do they give up? How do they score a goal and give up a goal 10 seconds later? I mean, this is happening way too often.
It is. I saw that stat that it's happened quite a bit recently. You know what? I think with the Pens, the game is getting faster, and that was always the game that the Pens like to play. Unfortunately, they're getting a little bit older, while these teams that they're playing, for example, Edmonton last night, they're just so fast and so skilled. To try to change that style of play is tough for them, right? And so, obviously their starting goalie being out doesn't help now.
Right.
So it's kind of, what you kind of hope for is that this is the lull before the pickup before the playoffs, right? Because, you don't want to get too hot going into the playoffs, and then, eventually you're not going to win. Like the St. Louis Blues had points in 17 straight games, and they're probably not going to keep that up over time, right? So you hope this is the lull, and then they can pick it back up. But for what I really think it is they're trying to play a game right now that they're not really capable of playing against some of those top competitions like Edmonton and Colorado and those types of teams. They're just so fast and so skilled that the Pens are maybe just a step behind.
Yeah, I know we're all rooting for them because they root for Robert Morris hockey.
Heck yeah.
They really do.
Yep.
They're behind us, no question about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Logan, it's been a thrill. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, it's the Bobby Moe Show, and the podcast continues right after this. This winter, many families in our area are struggling to make ends meet and keep their homes warm. You can make a difference by making a donation to Dollar Energy Fund. Your contribution will be matched dollar for dollar by Dollar Energy Fund's utility partners, and 100% of all donations will be used to help local families maintain or restore basic utility services. No one should have to face a Pittsburgh winter in the cold. Help spread the warmth to your neighbors in need and donate today at dollarenergy.org. For nearly 4 decades, Dollar Energy Fund has been providing utility assistance to local families in need. When you support Dollar Energy Fund, you help your neighbors maintain safe gas, water, and electric services. Visit dollarenergy.org to donate today. Okay, let's take a final look at what's coming up for the Robert Morris University athletic team still in action during this spring season. First of all, softball had a big sweep last weekend. They took all 3 from Purdue Fort Wayne. They'll be at Oakland Friday at 1 o'clock and then play a doubleheader against the Golden Grizzlies on Saturday in Michigan. Men's lacrosse beat Air Force 11-10. They clinched a playoff berth in the A-Sun. On Saturday, they'll be at Cleveland State. Women's lacrosse fell on the road at Central Michigan University up in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. This Saturday, they'll be home at noon. The game on ESPN Plus against Youngstown State as they host the Penguins. Women's track and field will be on the road in Loretto, Pennsylvania at the Red Flash Open. That'll take place on Saturday. And finally, rowing will host WVU on Saturday. Then they'll travel to Buffalo on Sunday to participate in the Black Rock Cup. That'll do it for the Bobby Moe Show, brought to you by Dollar Energy Fund. I'm Chris Shovlin. Dylan Thompson's our producer. Thanks for joining us. Next week, we talk to Athletic Director and Vice President Chris King right here on the Bobby Moe Show podcast. I hope you join us then.